If you're from Tamil Nadu, you're probably hearing the term horse trading a lot these days. Well, here in Karnataka, we're pretty used to the phrase now and its implications too. Horse trading, in its literal sense, is the buying and selling of horses. Now, it's tough to evaluate how good a horse is. So, in the 19th century, traders used all kinds of dishonest methods to sell horses. In short, horse trading refers to behind-the-scenes bargaining and underhand deal-making. And that's exactly what's playing out in Tamil Nadu now. Horse trading of MLAs. But why does Vijay need these MLAs and how are they executing this operation? Let me explain. As MLAs switch sides and loyalties get negotiated like deals in a marketplace, one thing here is not up for negotiation: our loyalty to you, not to any political party or government or even corporates. If Let Me Explain has helped you understand the news or headlines better without noise or bias, then you already know why this matters. But shows like this run on people who care enough to value them. If you value our work, help us keep Let Me Explain going. Scan this QR code and contribute any amount of your choice to support the show. Here's also a quick reminder to tell you that LME has now gotten a step closer to you. We now have a WhatsApp channel. You can follow the channel for what happens behind the scene, for also other explainers and most importantly, recommendations from the Let Me Explain team. Right now, Tamil Nadu politics is going through something it has not seen in a very long time: uncertainty. For decades, the state's politics was dominated by two giant Dravidian parties, the DMK and the AIADMK. Even when smaller parties emerged, they usually ended up aligning with one of these two camps. The system was stable, predictable, and tightly controlled. But Vijay's entry through TVK has disrupted that balance. The recent resignations of AIADMK MLAs and their movement towards TVK are significant not just because of the numbers involved, but because of the message they sent. Sitting legislators from an established Dravidian party are beginning to see Vijay as a serious future power center. And this is where the term horse trading enters the conversation. Now, officially, of course, nobody is ever going to admit to horse trading, especially Vijay, who spoke about change and positioned himself against the BJP. The MLAs now flocking to him were part of the NDA with BJP. No political party is going to stand in front of cameras and say they engineered defections. Instead, the language is always more polished. They'll talk about ideological disagreements, frustration with party leadership, and changing political priorities or need for fresh leadership. But the pattern is the same. MLAs suddenly resign. Political camps become active behind the scenes. Negotiations happen privately. And most often, money is promised. And eventually, politicians who switch sides often reappear with better political opportunities, either rewarded with a cabinet berth or contracts to business houses they are associated with, or even relief from some investigation. But to fully understand why this matters so much in Tamil Nadu today, we need to go back a little bit and understand how horse trading became such an important part of Indian politics in the first place. The political use of the term actually goes back more than a century. One of the earliest recorded political uses appeared in an 1893 editorial in the New York Times titled "Lying and Legislation," where the term was used to describe manipulative political bargaining and dishonest deal-making in public life. Over time, horse trading became associated with unethical negotiations involving political loyalty, votes, and power. India eventually gave the phrase its own unforgettable version: Aaya Ram, Gaya Ram. The phrase originated in Haryana in 1967 after an MLA named Gaya Lal switched political allegiance 3 times within just 2 weeks. Now, here in Karnataka, we have our own versions of this. These incidents of legislators jumping ships became symbolic of a much larger problem in Indian politics. MLAs were no longer simply representatives of ideology or voter mandate. They were becoming movable political assets that could shift sides depending on power equations, ministerial promises, or political convenience. And this behavior became incredibly common during the 1960s and 70s. Governments across India started collapsing because elected representatives kept defecting from one party to another. Sometimes these defections happen individually. Some other times entire groups switch camps completely. Political instability became so severe that many people started questioning what was the point of elections if governments could simply be rearranged through defections. This eventually led to the introduction of the Anti-Defection Law in 1985 through the 10th schedule of the Constitution, and this was during Rajiv Gandhi's government. The intention behind the law was fairly simple. If an MLA or MP elected under one party defected to another, they could be disqualified. But hey, Indian politics has always had an extraordinary ability to adapt to every rule meant to control it. Politicians quickly realized that while the law restricted direct defections, there were still loopholes that could be exploited. And this is where modern political horse trading evolved into something far more sophisticated. Today, defections are rarely random or impulsive decisions. They are carefully planned political operations. Groups move together to avoid legal complications. Political camps isolate legislators in resorts to prevent counter-negotiations, or MLAs defect and then resign to recontest from another party symbol to avoid penalty. Lawyers, party strategists all work behind the scene simultaneously. Everything becomes part of a larger political operation. And nowhere was this visible more than in Karnataka in 2019. That year, the Congress and JDS coalition government led by H.D. Kumaraswamy collapsed after a series of resignations by MLAs. 16 legislators resigned, reducing the coalition government below the majority mark and eventually paving the way for the BJP under B.S. Yediyurappa to return to power. Over days, we saw MLAs pretending to be unwell and admitting themselves to hospitals, and some others holed up in a hotel in Mumbai. The entire episode became famous, rather infamous, under the name Operation Kamala. The Karnataka episode became constitutionally important because it eventually reached the Supreme Court. And the court made a very important observation that is directly relevant to Tamil Nadu today. The Supreme Court clarified that resignation does not automatically erase disqualification proceedings under the Anti-Defection Law. In simple terms, legislators cannot simply avoid scrutiny or consequences by resigning before action is initiated against them. And this becomes important because one of the biggest questions in Tamil Nadu right now is whether the resignations of the AIADMK MLAs are genuinely voluntary political choices or strategically managed exits designed to weaken AIADMK while building TVK's political strength. For the AIADMK, the issue goes far beyond losing a handful of MLAs. Since Jayalalitha's death, AIADMK has struggled to project the same emotional authority and charismatic leadership that once held the party together. Edapadi Palnichami may have consolidated organizational control, but the party no longer is the same. That creates vulnerability. The moment a major party appears weakened, ambitious politicians begin exploring future options. They start calculating where power may shift over the next 5 to 10 years. Right now, Vijay and TVK represent that possibility, especially among younger voters. And for Vijay and TVK, an MLA comes with an entire local political ecosystem. They bring booth workers, district-level influence, caste networks, financiers, local organizers, and voter relationships built over years. For a new political movement like TVK, this infrastructure is incredibly valuable. But beyond organizational strength, these defections also create legitimacy. The moment elected representatives begin leaving established Dravidian parties to move towards TVK, Vijay stops looking like an experiment and starts looking like a serious political contender. This is why horse trading, though clearly unethical and even illegal, is not simply about numbers. It's about perception management. At the same time, it is important to acknowledge that not every defection automatically qualifies as horse trading. Sometimes politicians genuinely become dissatisfied with their parties. And when a new political force emerges, frustrated leaders naturally migrate towards it. Interestingly, Tamil Nadu historically remained more resistant to this style of politics compared to other states like Karnataka, Maharashtra, or Goa. Dravidian parties built disciplined cadre structures and strong ideological identities that reduce frequent defections. But political cultures evolve. We saw something very similar in Maharashtra in 2022 when Eknath Shinde led a rebellion within Shiv Sena that eventually brought down the Uddhav Thackeray-led Mahavikas Aghadi government. But beneath all this lies one uncomfortable reality. The Anti-Defection Law has never fully solved the problem it was created to address. That's exactly why the recent Supreme Court observations regarding resignation and disqualification are politically important. I had done an earlier episode of Let Me Explain on the Anti-Defection Law. If you want to understand this law much better, you can watch the episode. The link is in the description below. Tamil Nadu may just be entering its horse trading era. And if Karnataka's experience tells us anything, the story is probably just getting started. Now, before I go, here's a quick reminder that there are multiple ways in which you can support the show. Like I said earlier, you can directly support Let Me Explain by scanning this QR code and contributing any amount of your choice. But there's another option. For just 99 rupees a week, you can support Let Me Explain and a whole bunch of other work that we do here at the News Minute by becoming subscribers of the News Minute and News Laundry.